a month or two, I think had to be about 2 months later, we were up and moving because she received an opportunity,
Uh huh.
or what was perceived as an opportunity for her to be working in the writer's room.
Right.
And when she came out here, that wasn't the case. I moved. She moved out here 2 weeks before me,
Uh huh.
and then I moved out here. And then me personally, I also had a pursuit. I had figured out I wanted to pursue advertising because there's a lot of advertising firms out here.
Right.
And I had an interview the first week I was here. It wasn't even an interview. It was kind of like one person introduced me to somebody, and another person introduced me to the HR people.
Yeah,
But
it
they
sounds like LA.
yeah, they didn't give me the job.
Right.
So, or give me a job, and I didn't technically know what I wanted to do. My whole thing is I know that personally what advertising is tapping in
Uh huh.
is that urban pop culture
Yep.
that aligns with what I was raised on. So it's,
Right.
in one way or another, I can definitely help and impact the agency.
Right.
Um, and so I didn't initially have a position that I wanted
Right.
to join, but I just knew I was hungry to do it, but I didn't get a role, so I took a step back. I was staying with her brother. We were kind of not, we weren't bumping heads, but we were like, just not like compatible. He's younger, he wants to live like this. Like, and what I'm finding is, me personally, some people are like good with fake it till you make it
Mm-hmm.
people. I'm not that type of person.
Same here.
If
Yeah.
you gonna like be braggadocious and like really be like cocky and shit, like show me something.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
be that way and you living like, yo, dog, you're not really doing shit.
Exactly. Hell yeah. I feel you with
And
that.
that's kind of what I've seen and I experienced for him, and he kind of probably felt that energy from me, because like I'm like, yo, you're not really doing shit in my demeanor.
Right.
I wasn't actually saying that because like you 8, 10 years younger than me. Like I'm not down to talk anybody down, but just be humble.
That's all it is to it.
Cause I come out here being humble, but then so I eventually left. He actually kicked me out.
Mm.
It came to a point where he kicked me out, asked me to leave, kicked me out.
Mm-hmm.
I was in between Airbnbs for about a week and a half, 2 weeks before I got a job offer.
Yeah.
And in that same time, my ex was living with a lady that was saying she was going to be able to do something that she really wasn't able to do.
Right.
And
Set this stuff out your way.
now it's good. And eventually, it just didn't pan out. Right. So
Right.
we ended up finding a little studio in Koreatown for 1,100, and we stayed there for about a year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working. She was having trouble finding jobs because she actually wasn't. The film industry and the writers' room and screenwriting is not as easy to get in as it looks.
Right.
Now they're definitely opening up the doors for.
But I would
But
assume.
it's still difficult.
Right, I would assume you have to be damn near a part of a clique or have some type of connections or some shit like that.
Exactly, it's connections. It's
Right.
definitely connections. So she was just working in service, and then I had a little job where I was making like a salary and basically putting two and two together, and we was just working it out.
Right.
But eventually, like I just think that led her to meeting someone through somebody else, and then from there she got a job with Common. They clicked for a minute, and then they didn't click.
Mm-hmm.
When they didn't click at first, it also was a strain on my relationship because she felt like I was being emotionally available to this white girl that was going through a breakup
Right.
of her boyfriend cheating, and my angle was that I wasn't being. I didn't know what emotionally available was. That's the thing. You tell a black man emotionally available, no, you can't put it in those terms.
But that is something that we have to teach ourselves as well as break it down into our language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely.
So that was the case. Break it down in my language, because here I am listening to her, but you don't understand. She comes from money.
Yep.
I have a food truck idea.
Mm-hmm.
She's thinking about investing in it. So we became kind of like comrades at work.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But when I come home, I'm not explaining that because it doesn't fucking matter. I come home, I'm tired. You know,
Yep.
I wasn't doing anything. I was literally waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to work, catching a train in to Sherman Oaks, coming home, passing out at like 7 because I was that tired.
Yeah.
Like I was draining myself, and so she clicked with they didn't click at first. For some reason, this nigga was like, I don't know if he was paranoid or what, or I don't know what happened, but I think he felt bad that they didn't click or they went about something the wrong way, and he invited her back, and that's in December, like December where she started again, and she's just been able to leverage that opportunity more in her way because I guess, I mean, he owns his own company, but his operations is ran by women. You know what I mean? All women around him. He got a few brothers that do this and that, but for the majority, it's women. So she sees an opportunity, and for me personally, I had a transition. After I worked at that agency out in Sherman Oaks, man, I had won like a $2.5–3 million campaign for him. I won a couple campaigns for him, but one time I went to Atlanta with him. We pitched Coca-Cola, and I flaked on the pitch. Like I didn't do good. I was nervous. I was out of my element.
Yeah.
First of all, and I didn't do well. So the owner comes back, one of the two ladies, and she just like Hispanic woman brings me in the office and talks to me for about an hour and a half. But the first 45 minutes was kind of like berating me, in the sense of talking down to me.
Right.
And I think it was also outside of, I think she was nervous that I was trying to leave because I was working at a place where visually coming from New York City, I know this is not it. Like this is not where I want to be.
Right.
So she was figuring like this is maybe some type of psychological, like, you know what I mean? And I mentioned that to her. I was like, yo, that's the slave thing that slave masters used to do to slaves.
Right, yeah.
Talk down on them to make them feel like they're not worth anything.
Exactly.
I left a few months later, and I actually went through depression because I was so furious and I was starting to hate and dislike myself. And I went into I went into a 10-day silent meditation retreat that definitely healed me a lot.
Right.
Healed me because it gave me a time to really be by myself. And my girl went with me as well the first time. So then we came back. I went into a coffee shop, which I enjoyed, working at a third wave coffee shop downtown. It was quick. It wasn't the greatest money, but I was able to pay my rent and make tips every night.
Right.
And then I was kind of smoking, so I was like, cool. And I was like in a creative kick where I was like, yo, I need space, I need time.
Yeah.
Did that, but then I met a guy at All Dev Digital, which does like social media shit, comedy. Met him and sent my resume. So as soon as I got into that position, I was already looking at like, because also the coffee shop was like in a prime area. It was like, I'm going to meet somebody here that can get me to another.
Right.
That was my whole, my strategy.
Right.
And I met him. So then I also took a part-time at Apple for seasonal. So I worked as a seasonal specialist for like 3 months until January. But in the meantime, I was working full-time 7 days a week at Apple. And the job that I met through the guy, they offered me to be like a marketing coordinator. So I was able to do that for about, I did both jobs 7 days a week for 3 months. But then Apple, I told them I got a full-time job. I'm just going to keep the full-time job. So this is about January, February, and you know, my girl was just on the road all the time, and I think February 14th, actually Valentine's Day, where it started to feel like we was just like, I don't know, it just wasn't like, I feel like,
y'all on different roads or something?
Yeah, I can't even put my tongue on it, to be honest, in terms of like what I felt. I don't know if it was me being unhappy with myself and my situation, or me feeling like we are just not the same. Like
Mm-hmm.
things are changing for you and me, and I feel like you don't understand how to satisfy me and cater to me in the sense of, look, things are going great for you,
Right. Yeah.
but you still gotta, if you got a man, you still gotta understand what can make him happy. And I'm a giver, honestly. So at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, I'm still gonna show you love and give to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, since you're in a better position than I am, you making a little bit more money. I'm not saying break bread. I'm just saying figure out how to make me feel better about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so shit, she did a couple things. She like, I went to certain places, but it wasn't more of us like trying to reignite that intimacy.
Yeah.
And shit, once you like don't have the intimacy, you not having sex. Like it ain't even just about that, but it's just like it's not there in that sense.
Right. Yeah, like if you're not even drawn to sex, then something that in between to be drawn to them is missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
that kind of happened, and shit. We kind of broke up. The conversation was definitely, you know, because I shut down,
Mm-hmm.
stopped talking, lack of communication led to us figuring out, hey, blah, blah, blah. I guess it came to terms where it was like, yo, I need to leave, I need to change, or I want to work on myself. And then I mentioned to her about her not being able to cater, and she took offense to that. And it kind of ended sour.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like no abuse or anything. I was just like, yo, I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even and I left, and my last month was like March, the end of March. I went to Sedona.